Top 10 real-life experiments that sound like science fiction. Time travel experiments. Mind control. Animal-human hybrids. These ideas might sound like scenes pulled from a Hollywood blockbuster or a sci-fi novel, but they're not. They're real. Conducted by governments, scientists, and researchers around the world, these experiments push the boundaries of ethics, science, and reality. They challenge everything we thought we knew about the world and raise even more questions about where science is heading. That you're about to discover the most bizarre, controversial, and mind-bending experiments in history that prove truth is often stranger than fiction. Science fiction has always fascinated us with futuristic visions and impossible technologies. But what if some of those outlandish ideas were actually tested in real life? What if scientists, driven by curiosity, ambition, or power, dared to turn fiction into reality? Throughout modern history, real-life experiments have crossed into territories once reserved for fantasy. Governments have funded secret research into psychic abilities. Medical researchers have performed shocking surgeries. Physicists have toyed with the fundamental laws of time and space. And some of these experiments, while rooted in real science, ended up sounding more like episodes from a dystopian drama than peer-reviewed journals. In this video, we're counting down the top 10 real-life experiments that sound like science fiction, projects that blur the line between reality and imagination. Let's get started. Number 10. The Philadelphia Experiment. Warship teleportation. In 1943, during the height of World War II, the U.S. Navy allegedly attempted to make a warship invisible and teleport it, known as the Philadelphia Experiment. This story centers around the USS Eldridge, a naval destroyer that was said to have vanished from the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard and reappeared in Norfolk, Virginia, before returning. Witnesses claimed the ship not only vanished from sight, but also phased out of existence. Some crew members allegedly experienced nausea, burns, mental breakdowns, or were even fused into the metal structure of the ship. The Navy denied the entire incident, calling it a hoax, but the legend has persisted for decades. While there's no definitive proof the experiment happened, the story has inspired books, films, and endless speculation about the possibilities of teleportation and cloaking technologies. Number 9. The Stanford Prison Experiment. Power, control, and human behavior. In 1971, psychologist Philip Zimbardo conducted one of the most infamous psychological experiments of all time, the Stanford Prison Experiment. College students were assigned roles as either guards or prisoners in a simulated prison environment. What was supposed to last 2 weeks had to be shut down after only 6 days. Why? Because the guards quickly became sadistic, abusing the prisoners both psychologically and physically. The experiment spiraled out of control, demonstrating how quickly ordinary people can adopt authoritarian behaviors when placed in positions of unchecked power. It sounded like dystopian fiction brought to life, but it was all too real. The study has become a cautionary tale in psychology and ethics, sparking debate about the dark side of human nature. Number 8. Project MKUltra. Mind control through drugs and hypnosis. Between the 1950s and 1970s, the CIA secretly ran Project MKUltra, an illegal program that tested the limits of mind control using LSD, sensory deprivation, hypnosis, and psychological torture. Subjects, often unaware they were part of the experiment, were drugged and manipulated to observe how their behavior changed. The goal was to develop techniques for interrogation, brainwashing, and even creating programmable assassins. The project remained hidden for decades until it was exposed by a congressional investigation. By then, many of the documents had been destroyed, and several victims never knew what had been done to them. It sounds like the plot of a thriller, but MKUltra was chillingly real. Number 7. Russian sleep experiment. The myth with some truth. The Russian sleep experiment is often considered an urban legend, where Soviet scientists allegedly kept political prisoners awake for 15 days using an experimental gas. The subjects reportedly went insane, mutilated themselves, and ultimately died under horrifying circumstances. Although no official record of this experiment exists, there were real Soviet-era studies focused on sleep deprivation, isolation, and its effects on mental stability. While the gas chamber part of the story may be fictional, the science behind prolonged sleep deprivation and its psychological toll is very real and terrifying. The line between myth and reality blurs in this one. but it raises valid concerns about the ethics of human experimentation under totalitarian regimes. Number 6. The Large Hadron Collider, opening mini black holes. The Large Hadron Collider, LHC, the world's most powerful particle accelerator, was built to explore the fundamental structure of the universe. But when it was first turned on in 2008, some scientists and members of the public feared it might accidentally create miniature black holes, tiny gravitational anomalies that could potentially consume matter. While the fears were exaggerated, the LHC did achieve something extraordinary. It discovered the Higgs boson, a particle that gives mass to other particles, confirming long-standing theories in physics. Though we haven't been sucked into a black hole yet, the fact that scientists were seriously discussing the possibility makes this real-world experiment sound more like the plot of a sci-fi disaster movie than a laboratory project. Number 5. Neuralink, connecting the human brain to machines. Elon Musk's Neuralink aims to merge biology with technology by implanting microchips into the human brain. These chips would allow humans to interface with computers, restore motor function in paralyzed individuals, and potentially even upload or download thoughts in the future, but as of now. Neuralink has successfully tested its technology on animals, including monkeys playing video games with their minds. Human trials have reportedly begun. The implications are staggering: memory enhancement, telepathic communication, and possibly a cure for neurological disorders. But the ethical questions are just as large. Are we prepared for a future where minds can be hacked? This experiment is unfolding before our eyes, and its consequences could redefine what it means to be human. Number 4. CRISPR gene editing. Designing life. CRISPR Cas9 is a revolutionary gene editing tool that allows scientists to alter DNA with precision. With CRISPR, researchers have edited the genes of plants, animals, and even human embryos. In 2018, a Chinese scientist claimed he had edited the genes of twin girls to make them resistant to HIV, making them the world's first genetically modified humans. The news shocked the global scientific community and triggered widespread condemnation. The power of CRISPR means that we could one day cure genetic diseases or even enhance human traits like intelligence and strength. But it also opens the door to eugenics, designer babies, and unknown long-term consequences. It's not just science fiction anymore. It's science fact. Number 3. Project Stargate, government-funded psychic spies. In a program that sounds more like X-Men than military intelligence, the US government spent decades studying remote viewing, the supposed psychic ability to perceive events and locations from a distance. Project Stargate, run by the CIA and the Defense Intelligence Agency, trained individuals to mentally see into enemy facilities, locate hostages, and predict future events. Some sessions reportedly yielded results that matched actual intelligence. The project ran for over 20 years before being shut down in the mid-1990s, officially due to lack of consistent results. Still, the fact that governments invested millions in psychic research proves they considered it plausible, at least for a time. Number 2. Head transplants, the quest for immortality. In one of the most shocking medical proposals ever made, Italian neurosurgeon Dr. Sergio Canavero claimed he was ready to perform the first human head transplant, moving a living head onto a donor body. The idea was to help patients with terminal conditions, such as muscular dystrophy or organ failure, by giving them new bodies. The procedure would involve cooling the brain to preserve it, severing and reattaching the spinal cord, and using electrical stimulation to reboot the body. Animal experiments have been attempted, and while some progress has been made, no human transplant has occurred to date. It may sound like Frankenstein science, but efforts are still ongoing. Number 1. The Biosphere 2 experiment. Living on another planet, on Earth. In the early 1990s, 8 people entered a sealed, 3-acre ecological system in Arizona known as Biosphere 2. The goal was to create a fully self-sustaining environment, essentially a model for colonizing other planets. Inside, the Biosphereans had to grow their own food, recycle water, and manage oxygen levels. What started as a hopeful experiment soon turned into a struggle for survival. Oxygen levels dropped, crops failed, and interpersonal tensions erupted. The experiment was both praised and ridiculed, but it provided valuable data on closed ecosystems and long-term space habitation. Though it fell short of its ambitious goals, Biosphere 2 was a real attempt at simulating life beyond Earth, something that once belonged only in science fiction. Science is often seen as a steady, methodical pursuit of truth, but as you've seen, it can also be daring, dangerous, and deeply strange. These real-life experiments challenged the limits of what we believe is possible. Some changed the world. Others raised ethical red flags we're still debating today. What unites them all is their ability to blur the boundary between imagination and reality. They remind us that today's sci-fi may be tomorrow's headlines. But if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of extraordinary experiments, make sure to like the video, share it with fellow knowledge seekers, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a journey into the strange, the secret, and the scientific.